And sometimes we don't even know it's been a life-changing day. Sometimes we don't even know it's been a life-changing conversation because it has been the start of a chain reaction. And that brings me a lot of hope, especially in the seasons. This is not the last year of my life, but in the past seasons where I have just felt like, what is happening with my life? Where am I going? I feel nothing's moving. I feel slow. I feel stuck. I mean, it could be something as simple as I followed this person on Instagram.
Welcome to the Grace for the Growth podcast. I'm your host, Courtney Leo. The goal of this podcast is to encourage you on your own growth journey by empowering you to live your life with authenticity, freedom, and confidence. We will get real and raw as we dive into honest conversations about life, faith, business, relationships, dating, healing, and so much more. My goal is that you would walk away from our time together feeling a little less alone, a little less crazy, and a little more brave to be yourself. I hope you will find yourself more compassionate to past you, challenged as present you, and excited for future you. Embrace the story, welcome the messy of it all, sit in the unknown, and most importantly, live authentically. So pull up a chair in my virtual living room and let's dive into today's conversation.
Hey everybody, welcome to Grace for the Growth. I am excited to dive into today's conversation. Hey, before we jump in, if you are listening to this, just the audio, would you do us a favor and would you go to Apple Podcasts and would you rate and review our podcast? I get DMs from you guys all the time about how you are loving Grace for the Growth, and we would love to share those reviews. It helps really a lot with us getting the podcast out to more people, it being seen by more people. If you can just rate, and then if you want to give a review. So all of those DMs, if you could turn them into reviews, that would be amazing. And if you're on YouTube, if you could subscribe to this channel, that will help us get the word out there. So thanks for listening to Grace for the Growth. I really, really appreciate it. I do not take it for granted. You guys come back week after week after week, and I love reading your messages. I love reading what you're sharing, what you're learning, how this is coming up for you, and what you're discussing with me. And so would love to continue to reach more people and reach new audience. So thank you for partnering with us in doing that. So without further ado, today we're talking about something that I've seen trend on TikTok this week, and it is called the butterfly effect.
Hi, I'm her husband, Nick.
And I've seen a lot. Yeah, Nick is here with me, but I have seen a lot of misunderstandings, I was gonna say miscommunications, but misunderstandings about this. But it's also something that I am very interested in as somebody who loves stories, who is extremely sentimental, who is very like coincidence, like, oh my gosh, if this didn't happen, then this didn't happen, then this didn't happen. So that's what we're going to talk about because I'm fascinated by it. I'm absolutely fascinated by it. And anyways, I think we need to start off by defining it.
Okay. What's your definition of the butterfly effect?
The butterfly effect, the way that I understand it is it's that something small happens, like a butterfly flapping its wings, hence the butterfly effect, a butterfly flapping its wings, and it starts off a chain of events. The butterfly flapping its wings starts off a chain of events that leads to something massive. The explanation that I saw, and I don't know if this is like from the movie or whatever, I've never seen the movie, but is like a butterfly flapping its wings, like later on chain of events turns into a tsunami. That was the example that somebody gave. Like, again, series of events, kind of like time traveling. Like if you change this one thing, it changes the whole course of history, right? Whenever I watch those time traveling movies and like somebody does one thing wrong and it just like messes everything up for like the future.
Yeah.
Because sometimes one shift or one conversation differently or something like that makes the whole thing. The other thing that makes me think of is like, shifting the ship 1 degree changes the whole course of action.
Yes,
right?
Because if you shift a ship 1 degree, then eventually it's in a completely different place.
Did both of us say shift a ship without cussing? That's pretty great.
Well, Hashtag Christians.
I'm just saying that's really hard to say, and I just was like,
Shift to ship,
It's crazy. Okay, anyway, so that's my understanding of the butterfly effect.
Yeah, so I think you're on it. In my opinion, granted, I'm not some scholar.
Me neither. I literally just saw it on TikTok.
Well, I
Been TikTok
as you were
educated.
talking, so I mean, I've seen the movie with Ashton Kutcher. It's a fantastic movie. It is.
I have not.
It's a little rough at times. But I also had a memory of a book or a short story or something that I read, and I don't know why, but like George Orwell or whatever his name is pops into my head. I don't know.
What?
I don't know. Like, I don't know if it was an Orwell, like Orwell did
Animal Farm.
But wasn't he also the one that did War of the Worlds?
I don't know.
And wow, that's sorry, I'm about to go down a whole rabbit hole there.
Wait, is George Orwell Animal Farm?
I think so.
We just saw it in
I know we saw
a bookstore
Animal Farm in the forbidden book section,
Yeah.
which baffling to me as well. I read it in like every grade ever.
I think I read it 2 or 3 times in school.
But there's a short story or a book, I don't remember which, that I read in school, and it talked about, I mean, it's all about time travel, and the movie's about time travel, and basically it's just what you said, but their like illustration or definition. This guy goes back in time to like prehistoric era because they were allowing people to hunt dinosaurs. They'd come up with a technology that lets like a safari hunt, like you can go kill lions or elephants, which is barbaric, by the way, because they're majestic creatures that shouldn't be killed.
Oh my gosh.
But anyways, sorry, letting my personal life and opinions just flourish here. But think of that, but they had developed time travel and people could go back and hunt dinosaurs.
Okay.
And in the story, this person went back in time to hunt a dinosaur, and they told them, like, there's a path that you stay on. We have created a path. You cannot step off the path. If you step off the path, it will mess something up. And the person was hunting a dinosaur or a T-Rex or whatever, and I don't remember if they killed it or not, but when they turned around at one point or whatever, they stepped off the path and accidentally stepped on a butterfly or stepped on something or a plant. And when they stepped off the path, it killed whatever they stepped on. But it was a very minuscule thing, very small. And then they stepped right back on the path, and they're like, that's probably no big deal. I just barely stepped off the path. It's okay. And then they travel back to where their time is. And when they get back, everything is completely changed. And it's because they just had that small step off the path.
Yeah.
And so in the movie, it's basic, same premise, but it's Ashton Kutcher, back when Ashton Kutcher was awesome. And he has the ability to go back in time, and he's got, I believe it's his girlfriend or wife or fiance. She has died, and he goes back in time to try to save her. Like, he's trying to change things to save her. And every time he does it, it ends up worse than, and like, it just keeps compounding. Like, oh my gosh, I'm going to save her by doing this. Oh my gosh, she died this way, or she left me this way. I don't remember. But it just, every time he tries to make a change, it ends up worse than what the original storyline was. And so it's basically just over and over again trying to fix that or trying to remedy that. And so, yeah, I mean, just like you said, your definition was very eloquent. But it's, to my understanding, it is, you can make a slight, very, very small decision, and it has a massive impact later on.
Yeah.
So,
in the words of Will Ferrell in Spirited.
Oh my gosh.
A ripple.
Yeah.
Can change the world.
Yeah.
Ripple, 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 ripple. Yeah, guys, I love that movie. I did not think we were going there. Okay, anyway, so butterfly effect. So this is what I'm seeing. So this is TikTok trend. I posted a TikTok on this trend because I was like obsessed. The reason why I love this idea is because I like to live in this magical fantasy world, which is not fantasy and is not magical. But I love to have this perspective.
Live in a magical fantasy
I know
world
you
too.
do. I love to live in this perspective. And I love to talk to people about this all the time. But it's this thought that sometimes we end our day and we put our head on our pillow and close our eyes and we know it's been a life-changing day.
Yeah.
We've had a lot of those in the last year
Yeah.
where we have been like, that was a life-changing day. We'll never forget it.
Yeah.
We got married.
For sure.
Like
Got engaged.
there are some moments you get a promotion, you get hired. Like there are some moments where you're like, this was a life-changing day, right? You graduate from something, people have babies, like all these different things, right? This was a life-changing day. There was my life before this day and my life after this day. And I will never be the same, right? Some of us, we have those life-changing days. However, some of us, not some of us, I think all of us, sometimes we go to bed on life-changing days and don't even know it was a life-changing day.
Yeah. Don't even know what is in store.
Don't even know what the ripple effect is.
Also, don't even know what we may have missed.
What we may have missed, what we may have said.
Or what the Lord saved us from.
The Lord saved us from. How we've harmed people. Can we be real?
Yeah, because it doesn't, life change isn't just positive for us. Sometimes it's negative for us. Sometimes it's negative for others.
Ouch.
Yeah.
But true.
Yeah.
Ouch, but true. So sometimes we go to bed and we know it's been a life-changing day. Sometimes we go to bed and we don't know it's been a life-changing day. And I want you to think about the things in your life that are major, that are significant. And if you go back the chain of events, right? The chain of events. Let's use a new job that you got. Okay. So like if you think about this new job that you got, if you think about, okay, the day that you applied for the job led you to that moment. The day that you found the job led you to that moment, right? But maybe it had something to do with an email that you sent or a conversation that you did or a friend that you met or something like that, it was your one conversation away from this ripple effect of a life-changing day. And sometimes we don't even know it's been a life-changing day. Sometimes we don't even know it's been a life-changing conversation because it has been a start of a chain reaction.
Yeah.
And that brings me a lot of hope, especially in the seasons. This is not the last year of my life, but in the past seasons where I have just felt like, what is happening with my life? Where am I going? I feel nothing's moving. I feel slow. I feel stuck. I mean, it could be something as simple as I followed this person on Instagram. And here I am a year, 2, 3 years later. My whole life is different. My whole life has changed because I followed this person on Instagram because that introduced me to this person, that introduced me to this person. And then I signed up for coaching with them and then blah, 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 right? Like your life-changing day could literally have been follow.
Yeah.
What? So I'm obsessed with this thought, basically. Basically. And the TikTok that I made was about the fact that the mutual friend that introduced us, I reunited with her like 3 years ago at a class reunion.
Yeah.
And not to get into all of the details, but there were very specific details about the class reunion that made it what it was, including that it was many years late because our reunion would have been in 2020. But I don't think we would have had the same reunion had that girl got nominated, not our mutual friend, but the girl who planned it, who was in our friend group, had she won student council class president, senior class president that year. That was like a long time ago. And I'm sure that her running for student body class president or student class president, whatever, probably wasn't and then she won. There's probably a couple ripple effects before that. But just some small conversations, a small deal. And because of that, we're married.
Well, so it feels like a massive chasm of rabbit holes that you can get into.
I know. And that's why it's so much. But I know we're talking about the concept. We're going to get into like the spirituality of it.
Yeah. So
the Jesus part.
I think it's important to we've given our definition of the butterfly effect.
Yeah.
Or at least our understanding, maybe not our definition.
Sure.
Who knows what the definition is?
Someone
besides
does.
Webster.
Wikipedia.
Yeah, well, you know. I do think it would be important for us to say what we believe is not the butterfly effect. Let's give an example of that. You gave me a great one earlier, and I don't know if you want to share that, but if you want to share a different one too,
yeah.
give me a
There's
good
been
example
some
of
horrible ones on
not,
TikTok.
what's not the butterfly effect to
Some
you.
annoying ones I've seen is like, if I hadn't have left my house to go out to that restaurant, we never would be together. Yeah, that's called going on a date.
Yeah.
That's how it works. If I would have never downloaded Hinge, I would have never met you.
Yeah.
Honey, there's a difference between cause and effect and the butterfly effect. There's a lot of cause and effects. I mean,
but if she'd have never bought the phone, which let her
if she would have never bought the phone, if Steve Jobs would have never
come out with the iPhone, yeah,
we would have never met.
So you can go down the hole, but no, I think you're absolutely right. There are obviously decisions that can be made and not made.
Sure.
That could seem as though it's butterfly effect, but it's just cause and effect.
Yeah, which I mean, I guess cause and effect could be
the butterfly effect is cause and effect, but it's on the smallest playing field of cause and effect. I mean, there are massive causes and effects. I mean, I did this, and so I never went to Lee. Well, then I never met our friend and never met you because of it. I almost transferred out of Lee.
Yeah,
my freshman year
to Lee at all.
No, I was always going to Lee.
Okay, JK.
But I almost did transfer after my first semester because I was miserable because I wasn't involved in anything. I had no friends.
Pro tip: get involved.
Get involved in your college life, whatever it is. Whether it's partying, whether I'm kidding. It's a joke. It's a joke.
They're young ears.
Oh
Just
my
kidding.
gosh.
I don't know who's listening.
Not college age people.
Maybe
we're old.
I don't know.
What do they think?
Maybe I'm cool to college kids.
Listen, I'm cool to college kids.
Okay.
You're like their mother.
Wow. If you're a college kid and you think I'm cool, will you tell me? And if you don't think I'm cool, then don't.
Let me know. Follow me at what's my Instagram?
Nicholas Alexander.
That's my name.
Okay, I digress. So here's the
wait. Is my Instagram handle really my name?
Yes.
It's not my gamer tag anymore?
No.
Oh,
we
funny.
talk about this all the time.
All right. Follow me at Nicholas Alexander. NICKALIS.
Oh my gosh.
What?
Okay.
It's different spelling. They won't find me. What were we talking about? I'm sorry. It's funny. Yeah, cause and effect. There are actual causes and effect. Butterfly effect is a version of cause and effect, but we're talking about those moments, those little things that happen. I mean,
it gives me hope.
I think it should, but it should.
Me hope.
It also, for me, it gives me hope, but it also gives me. I hated that sound, but it also gives me the unction to want to be better. To do better. What I mean by that is you said it like, and we both said it like, how did you hurt someone today, or how did you end up doing something that like? And so I've always said it like, when I leave a room, I hope that people aren't saying things about me that I hear them saying about other people. So I just don't say those things about people.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Especially when they're not around. I might have a hard conversation with somebody, but to talk about someone. My biggest fear, one of my biggest fears is I hope they don't say those things about me when I leave. Yeah. And so I try to leave the best impression. I try to do the right thing. I try to be as compassionate as possible. So that's what it is for me too. It's like, man, I fail a lot because I'm a human, but it's very much so like I want to do my best to not be the effect, like to not cause the effect of trauma or hurt or pain. And I do know I fail at it. I mean, it happens.
Sure.
But there's also the world in which you own up to it and you say, I'm sorry for being the cause of this. I was in the wrong here. Yeah. Which is important. Yeah. So, I mean, but that's an aspect to me of what you said with it can cause, like, what trauma have we caused or what trauma has been caused because of these effects around us.
Yeah, I think for me, it challenges me to really lock in with the Holy Spirit because he's constantly guiding us and speaking to us. And, it's really easy to get tempted into the place where we are asking God for guidance and wisdom for those big moments, for those big decisions, for those, big moments of need and all these different things. And if we think about how so many things impact other things, it encourages me more to listen to the Holy Spirit, even when it doesn't feel like this is something significant, quote unquote, right? When it's something like, hey, sometimes it's like, hey, you should pray for this person.
Yeah.
But sometimes it's like, hey, drive this way.
Oh,
Or
yeah.
sometimes it's like, go to this store instead of this store. Or
Yeah.
sometimes it's, and not to like over spiritualize every single decision, but when we do have those moments and we do have those leanings of the Holy Spirit, like trusting us because we never know what's happening
Yeah.
fully. I mean, hopefully we know a little bit what's happening, but like we don't always know the full picture. We don't always know everything that's happening.
Yeah.
And so when I think about this concept of sometimes we end our days and it was a life-changing day, there's so much I don't know about my day.
Yeah.
There's so much that I don't have access to that information. There's so much I could have been saved from. There's so much different things. And so the Holy Spirit is aware of that and knows that. And so is navigating that. Now, I do think we have free will to choose, and that's a whole conversation and a whole thing in itself. But like, I think it challenges me to say, when I'm feeling those whispers, when I'm feeling those nudges from the Holy Spirit, even when it doesn't feel like, well, what was that for?
Yeah.
Like, can I trust that it was for something? Because when I look back in hindsight and I look back at my life and I look back at those life-changing moments, they probably were as simple as go here instead of here, or I know you're tired, get up and go to this place, or, like could have been as something as simple as that.
I'm curious too. I mean, you prompted a thought for me. I mean, I won't lie. I feel like thinking about this could be paralyzing.
Yeah.
So how do we deal with the paralyzing thought of there's so much weight behind every single decision, little, big, everything?
You probably just explain anxiety.
Well, yeah, but how do we deal with the weight of that? How do we not let it be crippling to us?
Well, what feels paralyzing about it?
I mean, just what I said, like, oh my gosh, if I don't make coffee this morning, it could lead to me falling asleep on the way to work, and then
it's the burnt toast effect.
Either I die or someone else dies in the car accident that I caused because I didn't have my sip of coffee and my brain wasn't functioning off of the things that it needed to because it's so used to caffeine, and I've got a caffeine addiction, which I fostered from
oh my
all these
gosh.
things. Yeah, you want me to open the anxiety? Because I can. It's very much so there. But, I mean, I know how I combat that, but how do you?
I don't get anxious about that.
Wow. Must be nice to live in that world, folks.
I don't think about that.
Wow.
That's why I'm like, I think I'm amazed at like, oh my gosh. And like this conversation could have a ripple effect because I don't. Now, I am a big cause and effect person, like just strategically in how I think about things. Like I need to schedule this so it goes out by this, so it's done by this, so it's done by this.
But you're also that way even just in the way that you speak and do things. Like, I mean, you in the way that you approach people, you are very much so cause and effect. You are observant of, okay, how's this person reacting to what I'm saying? Do I need to change what I'm saying or how I'm saying it? Or, know, so that is something that is characteristic to you as well, which is a great thing. So I agree. And I notice it just in general conversation with you.
Yeah. Yeah. So I mean, I do think that way. Like tonight we had to talk about meal planning for next week so I can go grocery shopping tomorrow so that we'll have it. So when our friends come over, we'll have the food there and then we can have leftover. So it's like, I do think in sequence.
Yeah.
But let me be honest. I don't always get overwhelmed by the world of possibilities. Now, last year when we were in the middle of moving and it was like, well, if I move to apartment, then this happens. If I quit my job here, well, then this happens.
Yeah.
Well, then if I move to a house, then this happens.
Yeah.
Well, if I move in this, then this happens. That to me just feels like a anxiety of possibilities, not and just decision making.
So you don't get wrapped up in the, well, if I do this, then it equals this. You get wrapped up in the, what do I do? I have too many decisions to make.
Yeah. I do recognize that each of those decisions has then an impact on the path forward.
For sure.
So sometimes I will think 4 or 5 steps down the line though.
Yeah.
But I think of it as like each of those decisions has 4 or 5 steps. Each of those decisions have 4 or 5 steps. That's why last year it was like so important for me to learn that like I can only make decisions based off of the information that I have right now.
Yeah.
Because I was thinking about so many branches off of possibilities and I was like, wait, I only have 2 options right now. I don't have 20 options. I only have 2 options right now. I just need to decide between those 2 options. And then once that decision's made, then that'll open another level of options and another level of options.
I use a specific phrase for that. It's called control the controllables.
Yeah.
And that, I mean, it's literally just what you said. It's, you can only control so many things. So control those things and don't let it worry you.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay. So let's get back to your anxiety.
Wow.
I mean, I'm sure you're not alone.
Oh, absolutely not. I have a very close friend who struggles with the same exact thing. Very different way.
Yeah.
But the same thing.
Yeah.
As weird as that, paradoxical as that is to say. The same exact way. Much different. But his is wrapped more around his family and his children.
Yeah.
He he told me not long ago, he's like, yeah, I follow this guy for weather updates. I was like, man, you are old. Like, you following guys on Facebook for weather updates. Like, there's an app for that, you know? And he was like, no, I found this guy and he has these weather updates. And now I listen to him anytime there's a storm. He's never been wrong since I've been following him. I'm like, why do you do that? He's like, I have kids. I worry about tornadoes.
I mean,
I'm like,
fair.
Okay. Which, I mean, it's different. I'm from West Tennessee / the Missouri, Arkansas area where it's very flat. Tornadoes are prevalent.
Yeah.
I know the signs. I can look outside and tell you if there's a tornado coming for the most part. It's just because I grew up there and I experienced it a lot. So he's never experienced it. He now lives in a place where sometimes tornadoes occur and he worries about it. But simply because he told me, he said, just because I have kids, I don't want my kids to be unsafe. He's like, I want to make the best decision for my children.
So how do you feel that ties into this and what you're experiencing? How does that tie into what we're talking about with butterfly effect?
Because, I mean, well, butterfly effect in the sense of if he makes any slight little decision, like his beginning to overthink about the little decisions, like following a weather guy on Facebook. It's not really that big of a decision, but he did it. So now he feels better prepared to make decisions down the road or to change aspects of what he's doing as far as that goes. I don't know. I mean, it's me grasping a little bit for straws, but I mean, the difference is for me, I don't necessarily deal with that anxiety a lot because I don't let myself, like my whole coffee thing there. Like I don't really let that get to me. It's a choice that I do make. I could, and I can see where if I wanted to, I could open the door and let it be open.
Sure.
But I just don't, as the Christians would say, I don't let it take foothold.
Yeah.
You know, I don't let it build up or take root in my thought process. We've expressed it before. I go to the nothing box. I just don't think about it.
What a luxury.
Yeah. Everybody talks about how much of a handicap ADHD is, but let me tell you, it could be a superpower. Because I just glaze over. So there are things like that I just don't think about.
Yeah.
And I have a thought about it. I'm like, it's probably nothing. And then I move on. I'm able to just put it out of my sight.
Yeah.
But it's there.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's lingering and you're like, I don't know if I want to let that run.
Yeah.
Feels a little terrifying.
Yeah.
But
I feel like my when I think about what we're talking about with butterfly effect and one thing can cause a chain reaction, I have a lot of hope and optimistic.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like I'm aware that it could be damaging, but I feel like it's very positive. And maybe it's just because I'm like a nostalgic person. Like I'm a very sentimental, nostalgic person. Probably to a flaw. But and so I don't know, I have a very positive view of it. That I'm hearing a potential shadow side that I'm not really processed or aware of because
Yeah.
I just don't think of it that way. I mean, I'm aware of it. I'm aware that, you know, I've watched enough Christmas Carol to know that like you do one bad thing or like or, you know, enough yeah, I guess it happens in Spirited where like she sends one honestly, Spirited, I did not think that was going to come up so many times today, but like, you know, she posts one video and it causes a negative, horrible chain reaction. I
The
won't
kid,
say it
like,
here, but
did
like,
things and,
yeah, so it like, yeah, so I do understand there's a shadow side of it.
Yeah.
I just
I
don't
do too.
default to that.
I do too. Well, and I think there's a part of me that wants to default to it, but I don't let myself. It's a conscious decision to not let it go there. But I do, and I think this has a lot to do with it. I do believe and I do trust in the sovereignty of God and knowing that, yes, our decisions have weight, and yes, our decisions have causality. And even the smallest decision that we make can lead to a massive change in a person, change in a people, change in ourselves and our families, generations, massive changes. And I do see that. But I do choose to believe that if I happen to miss it at some point, either the Lord's going to bring it back for me to catch it so that whatever it needs to be to happen to make the good come, or whatever that looks like, or the grace and sovereignty of God is so great that if I miss it, hopefully either my children would have another chance or the people that I was supposed to impact would have another chance. That is my belief. I don't know that is the case, but I truly do deep in my bones feel that, I mean, he's working all things together for the good of those.
Yeah.
You know, and so I do believe that. I really do.
Yeah. Yeah.
I know it might seem childish to believe it that way.
No, it's like I talk with clients, like especially like single girls who are burnt out on dating apps and like over dating apps. They have a horrible attitude about it. They're just, I mean, been there, like where you're just like sick of it. You're just like doing it just to do it. You're just burnt out, like, and like, would you give yourself the permission to like stop, to take a pause, to delete the app for a little bit, like just to pause? And the
like,
pushback
but what if my
is like,
person
but
just
what
got
about
on?
what if my person just got on? What if I'm just gonna like swipe right? Like there's so much anxiety around it.
Yeah.
And my response to that is like, okay, let's think about what we believe about the character of God and God's goodness and God's love and God's sovereignty. You think God's gonna be like, oh, sweet girl.
Yeah. Or boy.
Yeah, but I talk to girls mostly.
Oh,
but
sorry.
oh, sweet girl. You thought that like I here I was bringing your husband on Hinge.
Yeah.
And he was right in front of you, but then you decided to take a break. And so you missed him.
For your own mental health.
For your own mental health. So you missed
decided
him.
to take a break
or it's going to be another 5 years until you meet him again. Like what? Like that puts God in such a box that like we have that control. Like it's hard to get your brain around because we do have the ability to decide.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like this is so hard to talk about. Like at the same time, like we do have the ability to decide, but at the same time, we ain't that powerful. Like
but
I'm
we
not.
are.
but we are.
Yeah.
You know, like we're not that powerful, but we are. So like do our actions have that big of an impact? Yes, I do think that the things that we say and do impact our lives and the people around us for good and for bad. And also, I don't think we have that much power. But it's not like we're living in a simulation. Like it's not like we're like video games that like God's just like moving us around like pawns. Like we have choice.
Yeah, but I think it comes down to, well, like you said, like it comes down to the choices we make and the motives behind the choices.
Yeah.
Like your example, like, oh my gosh, I think I just need to take a break from dating apps. Because the last 10 people to reach out to me, it's either been just all sexual, or it's been all demeaning, or it's been all ghosted, or it's been all XYZ.
I'm just tired. That's usually what it is.
But like I just it's not what it needs to be. Let me say
it's
that.
It's not healthy.
It's not healthy for me mentally. So I'm gonna take a break, and then the moment you hit deactivate, your husband hits activate on theirs. It's like, dang, we missed it.
Gone forever.
But why would we be punished? Why would a God of love punish us for making a decision to inevitably probably help us be closer to Him?
Yeah, I think it goes back to do our actions, do we have peace from the Holy Spirit, and are we walking in as well?
Yeah.
And do our actions bring Him glory?
And it's also important to note that there is not one singular path.
Retweet.
There's no way that 8 billion people have a single path that's where their life is supposed to go. One, it's very limiting. Two, I missed it a long time ago.
We just opened a can of worms on the conversation of free will, didn't we?
Yeah, probably. And that's fine. It's fine. But I'm sorry. I just do not believe there is one singular path.
Yeah.
That leads to your grand purpose in life.
Similar to, I don't believe there's one person that you're supposed to marry.
Wow. Just hit me with that one, didn't you? No, I'm kidding. I don't either. I think they
become the one when you choose them to be the one.
Yeah.
But there's probably lots of ones that could have been the one.
I very much so think I have been in contact and probably am still in contact with individuals that I could have been happy with.
I think that for you. I don't think that for me.
Wow.
I know some of the people that you know, and I'm like, yeah, they're pretty great. I don't know anybody that I know.
Yikes. Sorry. Well, if you watch this and you ever liked her, she just roasted you. Yikes.
Well, that I'm aware of. I mean, maybe somebody liked me and I didn't know it.
Well, I'm talking, there's plenty of people that I liked and they didn't know it.
Well, missed your shot. Taken.
Oh, for sure.
But
I mean, there were plenty that I took a shot with and they didn't take it either.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, yeah. Anywho, yeah, I don't. The one. Yeah. Okay. So butterfly effect. The one, free will. We're just rolling it all out.
We're just talking.
I didn't think we were going to get all the way here today. I love this.
Listen.
I love it so much.
Just join us for the conversation.
I'm glad that you're my one.
I'm glad that I choose for you to be my one.
I'm glad that you became the one when I chose you to be the one.
Yeah.
You are the one for me.
Absolutely.
You are the one I choose.
You're the one I want.
Hey.
The only one I want.
So butterfly effect.
Aren't the words, but it's fine.
Butterfly effect.
Yeah.
You've made it.
I know we keep trying to get back to there, but
I think it's good. I think, I hope this conversation was entertaining. I don't really know if it was helpful.
Listen, I think at the end of the day, anyone that's listening, we know we haven't landed the plane.
I
First
know,
off,
it's actually really hard to land it. I was like,
Yeah.
let's talk about this thing. It came up on TikTok, and I think it's a really good concept. And I think it really lines up with a lot of things that I feel about life-changing days. So let's talk about this. I didn't really think it was going to be well, that's all.
yeah, no. So I do think it's important to note and to say the goal in life should be try to be better tomorrow than you are today.
Yeah.
And it can be the smallest decision.
Yeah.
I mean, it could be waking up 10 minutes earlier than you normally would because you want to make some eggs. You want to have a decent breakfast rather than drinking water and hoping that gets you through life.
Okay. You don't need to call me out.
I'm not calling you out. I'm just saying for me, it would be like waking up and today I choose to make the bed. That is not a big decision. But if I make the bed today, then I'm more likely to make it tomorrow.
Maybe.
And then it may lead to, wow, I feel like I've succeeded already in my day, which then prompts me to make a decision to have success later. I mean, the goal, in my opinion, no matter how big or small the decision, the goal should probably be, let me be a little better then than I am right now.
Yeah.
And how
Yeah.
do we do that?
Be 1% better every single day.
Yeah.
One step better every single day. Be aware of the Holy Spirit and how
Yeah.
he's leaning you.
Yeah.
And if he's leaning you and it doesn't feel like a significant moment, it feels like a hunch, it feels like a gut, it feels like something you're leaning towards, get curious around that. Lean into that. Like, you never know what's happening. Treat people well. Treat people with kindness.
Absolutely.
And have hope that today could be a life-changing day. And you may not even know it.
And know that at the end of the day, God is truly in control.
He is.
And God will honor us trying to do better.
Yeah.
Every single day.
Every single day. I'm very grateful for the big moments in my life that have happened over the last year. I'm really sentimental because my birthday is coming up and my birthday is essentially my New Year's. I'm very grateful for the big moments, right? We've had a lot of big moments.
For sure. But I do have a question before we stop. And you can ask me. I'm trying to think of one, but I'm curious. Do you have a small moment other than the graduation reunion thing? Do you have a small moment that you can think of that has led to a life-changing moment?
I mean, yeah. Pick the life-changing moment.
No, I want to hear about the little tiny decision.
Like a butterfly effect?
Yeah.
Type thing?
What was a tiny decision that you made that you could pinpoint to a big moment?
I could do this one really fast.
Okay, go.
I don't know if people can follow it. It's going to be really fast.
Well, it's on the recording. They can rewind it.
I
and
went
go
to
through it again.
Starbucks.
Okay.
With one of my good friends. And we lived in the same hall freshman year, and we were in grad school. I went to Starbucks with her.
Yeah.
And she brought another girl who, I knew her. We went to college, but I wasn't close to her.
Mm-hmm.
And we went to Starbucks. That was the moment.
What did that lead to? You don't have to go through the whole journey. Just say the end result. Or if
the end result?
If you want to go through the whole journey.
Cool. Oh, the end result. I'm a full-time coach.
Oh.
Because I went to Starbucks that one night.
With a friend.
Mm-hmm. And this other girl showed up.
And it's not something out of the ordinary for you to go to Starbucks with this person?
No, I went to Starbucks with that friend from freshman year a lot, actually, because we were both in grad school. But this one night that I went, this other girl was there.
Wow.
And many years later, maybe, I don't know, it was probably 2015. So probably 7 years later, I reconnected with that girl who showed up that night.
Mm-hmm.
Not my friend, but the other girl.
Mm-hmm.
We were following each other on social media. I reconnected with her. She was doing some specific brand coaching thing.
Mm-hmm.
We met a couple times, and basically she helped me figure out my messaging. She helped me realize it wasn't an Enneagram type 2. It was an Enneagram 4. She helped me find my voice. She helped me find my messaging. it opened up that exercises that she took me through. Literally, like, what's your brand?
Yeah.
That exercise that she took me through opened up a world of questions that I had that led to me doing a lot of the story work that I'm doing now.
Wow.
And then I started coaching with her. That led me a couple months later. That whole open process led me to get really curious about story work. And then so simultaneously, I was being coached by her for branding and messaging. I was being coached by story work. That introduced me to my business coach. That introduced me, it's like a conglomerate of coaching that has led me to be here. But it's because I went to Starbucks that one night in 2015.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure I guess it could have happened otherwise. Like, I could have followed her on Instagram at a different point in life because we went to college at a different time. But
yeah.
There you go.
Wow.
That's my little one.
I love it.
I went to Starbucks. It wasn't even like a deep conversation. It was just, we were going to study and she's like, hey, by the way, so-and-so is coming too.
Nice.
It wasn't like and then we got into it because we were at Christian school at Starbucks.
Yeah.
No,
for sure.
That at all.
Well, good. I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah. Do you have one?
I don't know. I feel like it's just a smattering of massive, just my butterfly's the size of a pterodactyl every time. Like God's smacking me in the face, being like, dum, 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 this is the big decision. I don't know. Like I keep like wanting to go back to like my salvation.
I mean, yeah.
I know.
Like,
I know.
Cop out decision, but yeah.
I know.
I mean,
but I
mean, a good one. I'm not criticizing you for a good one, but like, of course, like, I was born. Like,
well, yeah.
My birthday.
For sure. No, I mean,
when mom and dad loved each other.
So they did not. That's another story for another day, though. I think, jeez. I think one for me would be finding my love for singing.
That's a good one.
And like music, probably.
That has a lot of ripple effects.
You think so?
For you. I mean, me. I'm here.
You're not wrong. Yeah, so, and
your job, your work, this podcast studio.
Yeah. So apparently when I was growing up, my mom said I sang all the time. Like I was always singing, always doing something. Everybody always said that. But I never first off, no one ever put me in any sort of lessons or did anything with it. Story of my life. I could be so famous right now.
Oh my gosh.
Took some time with me.
Wow.
But I remember.
If anybody wants to discover Nicholas, please do. He's kind of like soft launching himself.
Absolutely. I remember my freshman year of high school. I moved to Cleveland, Tennessee. I had to pick my classes for freshman year. They're like, well, what were you in your old school? In South Haven, Mississippi, which is right next to Memphis. And I was like, well, I was in English and math and blah, blah, blah.
And they're like, good.
Yeah. They're like, well, it looks like you need to keep doing that because my grades were atrocious. I was misunderstood. But I also remember being like, well, I was in drama. And it wasn't because I liked drama. It's just that was the fine arts credit you needed, and that's the one I got put in. And I remember the person telling me, all right, we'll just put you in drama here. That way you're not behind. I don't know how you would be behind in drama, but that way you're not behind. Actually, I know how you could be behind in the drama class I was in, but again, another story. She was teaching us a different language.
This conversation has a butterfly effect.
Yeah. But ironically, she said those things. And then the next day, when I walked into classes with my schedule, I was told to go down the fine arts hallway room, blah, 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 blah. And I walk in, and it is Chorus 101.
Except you didn't know it was Chorus 101.
I did not know it was Chorus 101.
Until when?
It was a long time. And I mean...
And to this
a
day...
a long time.
Nicholas still forgets to read the fine print. Some things never change.
It was a semester. And then the choir teacher was like, Nick, you should...
semester?
Actually...
That you're singing?
Yeah. I didn't realize I was put in there by mistake until 2 years later. But that
That checks out.
That decision of not knowing, I guess, not paying attention, whatever.
Not reading.
Not reading.
Not looking at details.
I do remember the school counselor saying, we'll put you in drama class because you won't be behind. And I was like, okay, sounds good. And then I just went to classes. I was new in a school. I'm introverted.
You don't have to justify yourself.
No, I'm saying
very personality driven.
I'm saying like it can be well established. Like, I'm not going to go complain. Like, I don't know what this is. I don't know. I didn't realize what it was.
For 2 years.
Well, I realized that it was chorus before the 2-year mark.
Oh.
I
am thinking like you're singing and you're like, I didn't know it was chorus. I'm like, what kind of drama?
I didn't realize that I had been put into there by mistake. And I didn't catch it.
Yeah.
For 2 years. But at the end of that semester, the teacher's like, so I just go every day, introverted Nick, and I'm singing in this class. Apparently I can sing because we get, my decision to not make a big deal or to not think about it. At the end of the semester, the choir teacher's like, hey, I would love for you to try out for this next choir that, the chorus, nobody had to try out for it because we had to have fine arts credit. Drama or chorus was one of the two. That one you didn't try out for. Well, that's how she found people. She wanted people to try out for the next one. So tried out for the next one. At the end of that one, hey, let's try out for this one. End up in the top choir at the school for 2 years. Go to college, music major. Terrible idea, by the way, for me. And it leads to me singing in the group that I sang in eventually and made decisions there not to eventually and then not to immediately. And then eventually I did. And honestly, that led to you through many smatterings of things happening. But my decision to just go with the flow, not going to shake things up. I don't want to do anything because I didn't pay attention to it / didn't want to ruffle any feathers, make a big deal, led to literally where I'm at today as a human being.
So even when we act in our trauma responses,
wow,
all things work together for good.
Wow. You don't talk about calling somebody out.
You told on yourself.
Wow.
Look, you've been on a lot of episodes. They know your story. They're starting to know some of your story.
They don't know my story.
They don't know my story.
They know the prologue.
Yeah, okay. Anyways, I was trying to wrap this up.
I know. I had to ask. I just wanted to know.
I know. Anyways, well,
ladies and gentlemen.
I was just reflecting on the big moments of this year and small moments of this year, and I'm grateful for them all. And I usually do a birthday episode, and I'm not doing one this year. So
why not?
This is my birthday episode because this is coming out right before my birthday, and then my birthday's gonna be over. It's gonna be gone.
You can do a birthday episode whenever you want to.
Well, I like to do it around my birthday. Anyways, I hope this conversation's been entertaining for you. Lovely for you. I quite enjoyed it. I had a good time. I don't know who's still listening to this, but if you are.
Everyone.
Oh, everyone. If you're still listening, thanks for listening.
Absolutely.
And I really appreciate it. And we've got some stuff coming. Our studio's under construction, as you can tell. Every time you tune in, there's going to be new things, apparently. So we love you guys. And thanks for listening in. Let us know your cool butterfly effect stories. Type them in the comments. Let us know. I really want to read some good butterfly effects. I love them. And I hope if you get anything out of today, it's a little bit of hope and that you feel a little more seen. Yeah. Remember to be kind to people. Remember to listen to the Holy Spirit. And remember, today could be a life-changing day. You never know. You have anything else to say?
Hey, thanks for listening. We love you all.
We love you all. See you next time. Bye.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to the Grace for the Growth podcast with Courtney and Leo. I hope that this conversation encouraged you and inspired you on your own growth journey and as you pursue a life full of authenticity and freedom. I want to encourage you to interact with us on social media at Grace for the Growth and at Courtney Y. Leo. Also, if you've got any ideas, way that these episodes have impacted you or encouraged you, I want to invite you to either DM us or email us at hello@graceforthegrowth.com. Until next time, I challenge you to embrace your story, welcome the messy, sit in the unknown, and live authentically. Bye-bye now.